Hey guys, welcome to CAT Simplified by Akshay. Today we are going to talk about quantitative aptitude section, and in that one of the most basic and easy topic, percentages. While it's pretty easy, but a lot of students still struggle with the core concepts, how to apply the formulas, how to read the question right, how to read the language right before applying those variables into the formula. And it's very crucial because this topic, percentages, it's not only important for this topic but also some other topics like profit and loss, some discount questions, etc. So that's why it becomes super important that we clear the basics right up front. So we're going to talk about how we are going to solve these percentage problems, and then we'll go to successive percentage problems and so on. So let's get started. बात करते हैं टॉपिक परसेंटेजेस की, तो सबसे पहले सबसे बेसिक चीज़ों से स्टार्ट करेंगे. सो लेट्स सी, इफ समवन टेल्स अस दैट ए इज एक्स परसेंटेज ऑफ बी, ए इज एक्स परसेंटेज ऑफ बी, हाउ डू वी सॉल्व इट? वी से ए इज इक्वल टू एक्स परसेंट ऑफ बी, then we write a is equal to x. For percent we bring down the 100 into b. So let's say if I tell you calculate the value of a when the value of b is 100, and I'm asking you to calculate 20% of 100, 20% of 100. So that will be 20 divided by 100 into 100, which basically gives you 20. While this question was very simple, you would not have even required to write the formulas here. If someone tells you 20% of 100, you will simply say 20, right? But it becomes crucial when the calculations change, when some things are asked in a more complicated tone, and so on. But this was important to understand how to apply the most basic rule here. Let's ask another question, which is very similar. If I tell you A is 20% more than B, 20% more than B. You see how we change the language? The first question was A is equal to 20% of B. Now we are saying A is equal to 20% more than B. It's not very difficult actually. The equation is very simple again. A is equal to B plus 20% of B, because it's 20% more than B. So B is here and then it's 20% more. So 20% of B calculate kar lenge. So we know the value of B was 100. We know 20%, 100 नीचे आ जाएगा into B, which is again 100. So it gives us 120. Fair enough? Still simple? Let's level it up a little bit. And before we actually level it up, let's just write these formulas down for you. So if someone tells you A is X percent more than B, so we are going to simply write A is equal to 1 plus X percent into B. Fair enough? But if someone says A is X percent less than B, so we'll just flip the sign of plus here, make it 1 minus X percent into B. Still simple, right? Now let's solve a couple of questions here. Let's say I tell you A is equal to 200% of B, and the value of B is 50. So B is equal to 50. You need to calculate A, and I'm saying it A is equal to 200% of B. 200% of B. तो कैसे कैलकुलेट होगा ये? Let's see. A is equal to 200% of B, which is 50. Basically 200 divided by 100 into 50. आंसर हमारा आ जाएगा very straightforward, 100. Now the second question is 200% more than B. अब यहाँ पे हमारा फॉर्मूला काम आएगा. तो A is equal to 200% more. That means 1 plus 200% है, तो नीचे 100 आ जाएगा into B, which is 50. इसको सॉल्व चलो ऊपर करते हैं यहाँ पे. तो A becomes equal to 1 plus 200 by 100 कितना हो जाएगा? 300 by 100 into 50. giving us the answer 150. So if you see here, the colors, one answer was 150, and if you see the blue color that I highlight here, another answer was 100. The only change in the question was how the language was written. A is equal to 200% of B versus A is equal to 200% more than B. So that changes the entire picture. So we don't have to panic about it. Very simply, we are going to read it and simply decide if the formula is going to be X% into B, or is it going to be 1 plus X% into B. You good so far? Okay. Let's move to the next one. Again, still super simple. The concept here is successive percentage changes. Successive percentage changes. While in general you would not see these questions being asked directly in the exam, but you would see this concept being used in topics like profit and loss or discount. Pretty much the same topic, but the kind of questions are discounts or the price is increased and so on. I'll give you an example shortly. So let's say a shopkeeper is selling a certain item for 100 rupees. Then he tells that, okay, his item is not getting sold, or let's say there is a holiday and he wants to offer discounts to attract more customers. So he says, I am going to give you 10% discount. Okay, 10% discount is there. Now 100 में आप 10% discount लगा दोगे, your answer simply will be 90. But let's say the original price was 75 and then I ask you that I'm going to give you 15% discount. Slightly complicated, right? Not everyone can do these calculations in their minds. But let's say if we have to solve it, what will we do? It is still the same. What we learned just now was we need to calculate the final price. Let's say it is B. What was the original price? It was A. B is 15% less than A. That means B is going to be equal to 1 minus 15% of 75, which basically means 85 into 75 divided by 100. Fair enough? So it's going to be 255 by 4, which is nothing but slightly complicated, right? 63.75. इतना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड भी नहीं था एक्चुअली. ये कैलकुलेशंस आप कर सकते हैं एग्जाम में. इफ़ यू नीड देन यूज़ द ऑन स्क्रीन कैलकुलेटर, बट preferably do this in your mind. But let's come to the topic that we wanted to understand: successive percentage changes. I just wanted to show you the importance of, or the use of, how we apply when the formula changes to a negative percentage change, or something is discounted. That's why we just did this experiment. But now what I'm trying to say is, the shopkeeper had a certain item whose price was A. He says, I'm offering you a discount of X%. The price becomes A dash. And then tomorrow he says, I'm giving an additional discount of Y%. And the price eventually becomes A double dash. You're given the price, initial price of A. Let's say it was given 200 rupees. And you're given the values of X, which is 10%. And then you're given the value of Y, which is 20%. You're asked to calculate A double dash. Now there are two ways to solve it. Either you say A dash is equal to 200, 1 minus 10% of, percentage को हम नीचे ले जाएंगे, 1 minus 10% of 200, which is basically equal to 180. And then what you should do is A double dash is equal to 1 minus 20% of 180, which is going to give you again 80% of 180, which is 144. If I really have to calculate the delta actually is 200 minus 144 is equal to 56. That means the net change in value is 28%. तो यानी कि अरिथमेटिकली सम नहीं हो रहा है यहाँ पे डिस्काउंट्स का, 10 plus 20 is equal to 30, but because of successive discounting वो discount actually 28% ही हुआ net. Are you guys still with me? So अगर अब हम यहाँ पे इसको अब यहाँ पे now calculations were very simple, so we were able to solve once, then we solved again. Let's say now the question is with 3 discounts or 4 discounts. We don't need to do calculations again and again. Very simply, let's just try to see the formula for successive discounting. So our value of A dash was equal to 1 minus X% of A. And then value of A double dash was equal to 1 minus Y% of A dash, right? If I replace the value of A dash, it gives me 1 minus Y% into 1 minus X% of A. You're still with me? Now let's say I tell you, after this A double dash, the shopkeeper says I'm again going to reduce the pricing by Z%. Z% reduction again. So what will be the value? Yes, you guessed it right. We'll write it 1 minus Z% into 1 minus Y% into 1 minus X% of A, which is basically the Z%, let's say, is again a 10% discount. So it's going to be 90%. This is going to be your 80%. And this is going to be your 90% again. X का value 10 था into A. A हमें पता है 200 है और यहाँ पे हमें दिख रहा है 90 into 80 into 90. 100 से 100 नीचे आ जाएगा. So what we will find is it's going to be 90 into 80 into 90 divided by 100, 100, 100. तो यहाँ पे थोड़ा कैलकुलेशन हल्की सी कॉम्प्लेक्स हो जाएगी, बट इतनी भी सुपर डिफिकल्ट नहीं होगी. यू जस्ट नीड टू डू 81 into 8 divided by 10 into 2. प्रिटी मच सिंपल. सो फॉर्मूला हम आप यहाँ पे सेम रखेंगे, ज़्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेट नहीं करनी है लाइफ, बार बार मल्टीपल वैल्यूज़ को सॉल्व नहीं करेंगे. अदरवाइज़ आप उसी लाइन में लग जाओगे कि पहले ए से हम ए डैश निकालेंगे 180 आया, फिर ए डैश से ए डबल डैश निकालेंगे 144, फिर 144 से 10% माइनस करेंगे. इससे बेटर है सारी कैलकुलेशन को एक साथ सिंप्लीफाई कर लो एंड जस्ट गो टू द ऑन स्क्रीन कैलकुलेटर, डू दिस 9 into 8 into 9 into 2 divided by 10. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. We don't need to do 3 calculations when we can just do it by once. Okay, so that is how you're going to solve all of these problems. Now let's say we want to simplify this even further. In general, you will not get discounting problems with 3 or 4 discounts. Generally they are just trying to test your concepts. Now we just saw that a double dash ka value is equal to a into 1 minus x% into 1 minus y%, right? Let's just solve this for now. 1 into 1 1 minus x minus y and plus xy. Now these are percentages, right? We'll keep overall percentage outside, but because x into y had 2 percentages there, so 1 is still inside. So we'll just divide it by 100. So in that above example, we had 10% discount. The first discount was 10%, which is x, and the second discount was 20%, which is y. So what we'll do is 1 minus x minus y plus xy by 100. I actually rewrote the entire formula. You are supposed to plug in the values. So let's see. A into 1 minus 10 minus 20 plus 10 into 20 is equal to 200 divided by 100 percentage. What was the value of A, guys? The value of A was 200. Now 1 minus 10, 1 minus 30 plus 2%. So it's going to be equal to 200 minus 28 minus 30 plus 2. That means 56 is equal to 144. Pretty straightforward. I think that's what we had calculated earlier, right? 150, 144, 56 was the delta. That is the delta we just received here as well. 30 plus 2, minus 30 plus 2, ये यहाँ पे brackets मैंने गलत लगा दिए. Bracket won't be here because it's minus 30 and plus 2, so that will make it 28%. And when you solve for the percentage part, it gives you 56. 28% of 200 is equal to 56, this value, which is subtracted from 200. All clear here? So this is how we are going to solve all these problems. And let's say we complicate it. We actually not complicate it. Let's say someone was telling us that we are not giving discounts, we're increasing the prices. So it's going to be very straightforward again. A double dash is going to be equal to A into 1 plus X percent into 1 plus Y percent. So the formula becomes A into 1 plus X percent 1 plus X percent plus Y percent plus XY percent divided by 100, because there was 2 percentages in this. So that gives us simply 200 into 1 plus 10% plus 20% plus 200% by 100, which gives me 200 into 1 plus 30 plus 2, 32% by 100. Not by 100, actually 32% only. So 200 plus 200, 32% of 200, which is equal to 64. So that gives me 264. So just to simplify life for you once again, I think we used the wrong placement of bracket when we calculated this formula earlier, but let's just write these formulas again for you. So the value of A double dash in the case of price increase is going to be A into 1 plus X percent plus Y percent plus XY percent divided by 100. And when we are talking about giving discounts, so this is for discounts. So when we are talking about discounts, the formula will change. 1 minus X percent minus Y percent plus XY percent divided by 100. This plus is because X and Y both were negative. So minus into minus becomes plus. Let's say the price was increased once and then decreased. Then you know what to do. 1 minus X percent plus Y percent and then minus XY percent divided by 100, right? And this was in the case of price increase both the times. And if there is a flip case, there is a combination of the two, then you need to just apply the formula in the right way. You know how to do it. A dash is equal to A into 1 minus X percent, and let's say the second time they increase the price, it becomes 1 plus Y percent, and you can just solve this formula for 1 minus X percent plus Y percent minus XY percent by 100. That's it. So this is pretty simple, pretty straightforward, just that you need to know where to use the right formulas and how to use those formulas. So this successive discounting becomes very crucial in questions of profit and loss, discount questions or price increase questions. And the basic questions we already saw, where we talk about percentages of, if someone says that price of A is 200% of B, or price of A is 200% more than B. So there is a very subtle difference here. Don't forget that, and you'll be all set for success. ऐसी ही क्विक टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स और बेसिक्स को, अपने कोर कॉन्सेप्ट्स को स्ट्रेंथन करने के लिए जस्ट कीप फॉलोइंग आवर चैनल कैट सिंप्लीफाइड बाय अक्षय, एंड आई विल कीप ब्रिंगिंग अमेजिंग कंटेंट फॉर यू. टिल देन, गुड बाय, ऑल द बेस्ट.